The Secretary General of the OECD was in South Korea for the 6th OECD World Forum held in Incheon, which runs through Thursday. Kim Hyesung got to sit down with Angel Gurria to get his thoughts on the theme of this year's event, the future of well-being and the current state of the South Korean economy. Let's take a look.
The OECD pointed to digitalization as a key trend that could affect people's well-being in the next 10 to 20 years. AI and robots are expected to change the way people communicate and live and disrupt around half of existing jobs among OECD countries, meaning both the public and the private sector need to find new ways of governance. On how the host country of this year's OECD World Forum, Korea, is faring on well-being and economy, Secretary General Gurria said,
Korea has inflation under control. Korea has a current account which is quite strong. Korea is a powerhouse of exports. With all the classic indicators, Korea is in relatively good shape. But the question with Korea is, look at the medium and the long term. We mentioned a moment ago the question of aging. That is going to be very crucial because not only does it impinge in terms of the total size of the workforce, it also has an impact on public finances, which is quite considerable. It also has an impact in terms of your planning for skills.
As a medium-sized open economy that is vulnerable to slowing global trade growth, Korea also faces challenges like worsening inequality and low labor productivity, which is 46% below that in the top half of the OECD countries. What's your advice on how Korea, from the public and the private sector, can do to tackle its challenges like rising income gap and high unemployment and help boost its economy?
Inclusive growth. That has to be the answer. And then we find a leader here in Korea, Moon Jae-in, who has precisely that approach and who has those same priorities. But the question is also on the which quality of life. And that is where the companies can make a very great contribution. They can make a contribution by training the adults that work for them.
On top of efforts by companies to raise labor productivity, Mr. Gurria says deregulation by the government to spur private sector innovation is also important.
You have to keep a proper balance between productivity and therefore growth and inclusiveness.
Kim Hyesung, Arirang News.